Missing plan is the best way for a revenue leader to lose their job. And unfortunately, annual plans are oftentimes built more on hopes and dreams than on historic performance, realistic targets, and problem solving. Reaching targets becomes more a game of chance than of strategy. And in this framework, we're going to share with you best practices for annual planning. We're going to share how to balance top-down goals with bottoms-up planning, how to set realistic targets across different segments, channels, teams, and products, and how to execute with precision. We'll also share how to plan headcount and resources so that you can execute this plan and maximize your chances of reaching target. In this annual planning framework, we're going to share 7 steps to build a realistic, achievable annual plan and to execute that plan throughout the year. First, we're going to share how to set clear goals and targets from a top-down perspective. Next, we're going to share how to create a bottoms-up plan. Then, how to develop the go-to-market strategy and how to build the actual step-by-step go-to-market plan. We're then going to talk about how to translate this plan into action, about how to do scenario testing, and build a plan to fill any gaps in the current go-to-market engine. Next, we're going to talk about how best to present this plan. And then lastly, how to actually go execute this plan, how to track, adjust, and iterate. Step 1 is to set clear goals and targets. This is the top-down planning that we all know and love, and it is a critical first step. We need to meet with the entire executive team and understand the priorities for the year, whether it's growth, profitability, market share, or something else. And we need to get aligned on what those top goals are so that we can build our annual plan around it. Next, we need to break down our revenue targets, and we need to sit down and decide where we want to be in terms of new business versus net revenue retention and how that breaks down by different channels. Then we need to establish budgets, and part of those budgets are going to be the resources and headcount that we need to execute this plan. If you want to read more, we actually produced an entire newsletter on how to set realistic targets by doing capacity planning and understanding the capacity of the go-to-market team to execute on the plan. Step 2 is to build a bottoms-up, data-driven plan. And this is where many organizations fall off. We know that we want to grow revenue by X%. We want this in net revenue retention and this in new business. But how are we actually going to achieve this? We're going to close new deals one meeting, one outbound call, one inbound lead at a time. And we need to map out exactly what this looks like. We need to review our past revenue and pipeline metrics to see how much pipeline we generated from each channel, what we closed, what our average sales cycle was like, what our average deal size was, etc. And we need to analyze our sales and marketing performance and make assumptions for what the future may hold. We are oftentimes going to assume that we're going to be able to improve some of these metrics, but we need to have realistic assumptions on what we can improve and how much we can improve and exactly what we are going to do to improve those metrics so that we can actually hit our targets and not operate on hopes and dreams. If you'd like to read or hear more on bottoms-up planning, we produced an entire newsletter as well as a podcast that you can access in the links below. Step 3 is to develop the go-to-market strategy. We first need to define our high-level go-to-market goals. We've already done that a bit in step 1, but we need to refine this now that we've done our bottoms-up planning. We need to tailor our strategies by region and segment. If we have SMB, mid-market, enterprise, what are the targets for each of those? We've done our bottoms-up planning to understand exactly what pipeline generation, conversion rates, close rates, etc. look like. And now we need to tailor our plan to those numbers. We need to collaborate between sales, marketing, and customer success and get aligned on exactly what we're going to do to bring in new business, to retain, and to grow our customers. If you'd like to hear a little bit more on this section, we did an entire podcast with Jeremy Donovan at Insight Partners touching on many aspects in this topic. You can access it in the link below. Step 4 is to build the go-to-market plan. And this starts with planning our team capacity. We need to understand the capacity of our team across sales, marketing, and CS to do everything from closing deals to generating pipeline, following up on leads, executing marketing campaigns, and retaining and expanding our customers. Next, we need to assign territories and accounts. And by having an accurate capacity plan, we can know how many accounts our team can cover and build territories that are tailor fit to what they can actually execute on. This then enables us to set realistic quotas and compensation that is going to drive the behavior that we want instead of disenfranchising and discouraging our reps by setting unrealistic targets and paying them unfairly for things that they can't control. If you'd like to read more, we've produced a number of newsletters on this topic, one on creating territory plans, another on operationalizing outbound, another on when hiring salespeople will help stimulate growth, and lastly on how to build incentives that won't backfire on your business. Links below if you'd like to read more. Step 5 is to turn our plans into action. And this is probably the most critical piece of annual planning. We don't want to have an annual plan that just sits in a document somewhere. We want to make it actionable and go execute on that plan. So we need to create detailed revenue forecasts that we can track throughout the year. We need to standardize our processes and our metrics so that we can know, have we or have we not built enough pipeline to hit our new business target? Are we doing all the things that we need to do in order to hit the renewal rate that we are targeting? And then we need to, of course, optimize our tech stack to be able to track these metrics and actually execute our process in order to execute this plan. If you'd like to read or hear more, we have a number of links below on this topic. We have a framework on go-to-market metrics and insights. We have newsletters on how to drive revenue through Salesforce and implementing a sales process into the CRM. And we did live webinars on how to leverage data to build realistic revenue plans and the art and science of sales forecasting. Links below if you'd like to read or hear more. Step 6 is to actually present the plan. And of course, we need to take our plan and present it to the rest of the leadership team. We need to get aligned on this and make sure that everyone on the leadership team is willing to back this annual plan and the resources, headcount, budgets, etc. that we need to execute. Once we have our entire executive leadership team aligned, we can go properly execute that plan. And the next step is, of course, to roll this out to the team, to explain this in detail to the entire team and get everyone aligned and rowing in unison. Part of this is to actually have a roadmap for revenue operations and the improvements we need to make in go-to-market in order to execute this plan. If you'd like to read more, we wrote an entire framework on how to build a revenue operations roadmap, and the link is, of course, below. Our 7th and final step is to track, adjust, and iterate. We've now built our annual plan both from a top-down and a bottom-up perspective, and we've outlined the strategy, the metrics, the process, and the updates we need to make to systems in order to execute that plan. We now need to set up regular reviews where we block time for the right people on our team to spend time looking at the metrics and understanding how we are trending towards our goals. This goes way beyond forecasting, and it goes into identifying what's working and what's not working in the go-to-market engine. What marketing channels are producing not only leads, but leads that convert to pipeline and to revenue. What outbound strategies and techniques are working to generate meetings, pipeline, and closed-won business. What we're doing in order to win deals, and what we are doing to retain and grow our existing customers. What's important here is to be agile. Things never go exactly according to plan. And as we go throughout the year, we need to identify what's working and perhaps double down on that and identify what's working and either cut back on that or find ways to improve it and optimize it. Our ability to track, adjust, and iterate our annual plan throughout the year will make or break our ability to hit our target. If you'd like to read or hear more, we have a number of links below that go deeper on this topic. We have our pipeline management framework. We have newsletters on data-driven sales coaching, on how to run more effective go-to-market experiments, how to conduct pipeline reviews like Salesforce does, and how to create strategic alignment with a regular pipeline council. We also did an entire podcast on the pipeline council and how this can help you track, adjust, and iterate throughout the year. Take a look or take a listen if you'd like to go deeper. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, you can actually read this entire framework on our website in written form, of course, with the link below.